So for our last problem, there are two vectors with a resultant of 14.54 kilometers, 10 degrees north of east. And if one of the vectors is 10 kilometers due east, what is the magnitude and the direction of the second vector? Now, we approach this using a graphical approach. So gamit tayo dito ng sine and cosine law. We first draw our first vector. So, binigay naman yung first vector natin. One of the vectors is 10 kilometer due east. Basically, di ba, we have here the east, we have here the north. Then, we can plot first our first vector to be like this one. And so, we have here 10 kilometers. We label this as 10 kilometers. Then, towards the east, so positive x-axis yan. Then we also have a resultant vector na 14.54 kilometers, 10 degrees north of east. So, let's try to visualize ano ba yun? 10 degrees north of east. So, basically, from the east going to the north, meron tayong 10 degrees of inclination. So, ganito yung magiging itsura niya. But this will be the resultant. Okay? So, kunyari, ayan. Now, we need to find the angle and the magnitude of our second vector. This will be our second vector. Ayan. So, this will be our vector 2. But, ano pa mga binigay sa atin? Our resultant vector is 14.54 kilometers. 14.54 kilometers. And that is 10 degrees north of east. So, basically, the angle here is 10 degrees. Okay? Kasi ito yung reference x-axis natin eh. If we put an x and y coordinate system here, we have x and y axis here or the east and north system. Therefore, eto, meron na tayo niyan. We can now find using geometry or the different laws that we know, yung mga magnitude and direction. For V2 or the magnitude, first let's find the length. So we don't care first for the direction. We find the length. How do we find the length of this V2? In order for us to find this length of V2, let's analyze ano yung given sa atin. We are given two sides of our triangle and also the angle in between them. Okay, so itong angle na to. So we can utilize that one because according to cosine law, we can solve that one. Cosine law is equal to c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine c. Where a and b are the given two sides and the angle c is the angle in between them. So we can solve for c. Etong c na to represents our opposite side with respect dun sa angle na binigay natin dito. Hence, we can solve for c to be the square root of a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine c. Okay. Then this c represents our magnitude or yung length ng V2 natin. So that is equal to V2. The magnitude of that one is equal to the square root of 10 squared plus 14.54 squared minus 2 times 10 times 14.54 times cosine of 10 degrees. Okay? Now we can solve that one to be the magnitude of our second vector as the square root ng 10 squared plus 14.54 squared minus 2 times 10 times 14.54 cosine 10 degrees as 5.00295. 5.00295 kilometers. So we can let that as the magnitude, and store lang natin siya, baka gamitin pa natin mamaya. So we store it in our variable a. Lagay ko lang dito, store it. But this is the magnitude, okay? Magnitude of the second vector. Second vector. Okay. So, to solve naman for the direction of our second vector, let's analyze our figure. Our second vector is in this pink vector. O, yung pink na line natin. And we want to determine the angle, okay, or the direction of our second vector given by this theta. But we know that this angle is supplementary to this angle, okay, to this angle. This is supplementary to this angle. So basically, this angle is equal to 180 minus theta, okay? So, alam natin na 180 minus theta to, and our direction ng vector 2 natin is given by theta. Okay? So, if we have here an angle na meron tayo dito ng theta, and if they are supplementary angles, this is 180 minus theta. So, yun yung relationship nila. Ngayon, let's determine ano naman yung magagamit natin dito. Since we're looking for the angle, we can utilize now the sine law. Sine law. According to sine law, the ratio of the opposite side or the side over the sine of its angle, okay, sine angle is equal to all of its sides. So, for example, meron akong 14.54 over sine 180 minus theta. That is equal to my vector 2. So, itong vector 2 na to, na-solve na natin, or yung length ng vector natin 2 as 5.00295 kilometers. Ngayon, we'll just substitute that here, 5.00295. Kasi, alam natin yung angle na may opposite sa kanya, which is 10. So, this is over sine 10 degrees. Okay? So, basically, itong 14.54 over sine 180 over minus theta, ito yon 14.54 over sine 180 minus theta. Then also we have 5.00295 kilometers, which is the length of vector 2 over sine 10. Yan na yung ratio natin na pwedeng ma-compare. And we have only one unknown in this equation. Actually, I can utilize my shift solve function in my calculator. So we have here, i-input ko lang siya as 14.54 over sine, wherein yung theta ko, ililet ko siya as x, okay, minus alpha x, kasi yan yung unknown, okay? Then, it is equal to 5.00295. Or, di ba, tinor natin siya kay letter A, alpha A, over sine 10. So, let's check yung alpha A natin by, since isosolve natin si x, shift solve tayo, and pinapa-input niya yung value ng A, which is, ito na nga yun, yung na-solve natin kanina. Then, this is, for example, I set my x here to be this one, initial estimate. Then, I can solve for, okay, let's try again, shift solve A, then I'll put 1 here, kasi para yan. Shift solve, ang lalabas na theta is equal to 30.3095. Okay, 95. Okay, 95 degrees. Now, yung na-solve natin na theta dito is our angle. Okay? This will be the angle of our vector 2. So, anong angle to? This is northeast, diba? From our figure. Okay? Or, yan, tama. That is north of east. So, this becomes our angle. Therefore, vector 2 has a magnitude of 5.00295 kilometers. Then, the direction is equal to 30.395 degrees northeast, okay? From east going to the north, okay? Ayan yun. So, this will be our answer. And we can check this answer. Check natin yung answer na yun by using our calculator. So, okay. Yung na-solve natin kanina is yan, 30.30953. Then, I store it to B na lang para hindi na ako mag-type niyan mamaya. Then, I go to my complex calculator or complex mode of my calculator. Then, since alam natin resultant si 14.54 angle 10, dapat yan yung masosolve natin mamaya. We know the first vector to be 10 angle 0. Then we add our second vector na may magnitude na alpha A. So yung A kasi natin is yung 5.00, 'di ba? Tinor ko 'yan. Tapos angle B, okay, alpha B. Ayan, then equal, tapos shift complex, tapos convert ko lang siya. Dapat ang lalabas dito na sagot ay yung resultant natin, which is 14.54, then 10 degrees, okay? 10 degrees north of east, okay? So yan yon. We can also utilize this complex para mag-subtract ng vectors. For example, meron tayong resultant vector 14.54 angle 10 degrees north of east naman. So basically ganito yung itsura niya. Isusubtract natin yung first vector natin, 10 degrees angle due east, so 0 yan. Then equal natin siya. Masasolve na natin yung second vector para i-convert natin to sa r theta form, r angle theta, shift complex, then press natin si 3, then equal sign. Masasolve na natin yan, which is this one. 5.00295 angle 30.3953 northeast, or yan. So basically, that will be our last problem regarding vectors. So thank you for watching, and yun lang po.